Virginia's craft beer industry is bursting at the seams. There's so many options and so many choices today. And while connoisseurs enjoy the variety around the state, there's a silent partner that's giving many brewers a boost: Virginia farmers.
All of us in this room are always trying to inject local ingredients into all of our beers, and I really feel we look at each product that we make, and first and foremost, if we have Virginia ingredients that fit into our recipes, we definitely want to put them in there. A great example for Strangeways is our largest selling beer is our Banamonkey Belgian White Ale, and we use a local Virginia wildflower honey in that product.
Every meeting we have of our guild, there is a conversation that goes on about how can they source more hops locally, how can they get their malt locally, what other products, what other grains can they produce locally. And it's really turning out to be a great news story for that local supply chain being within the Commonwealth.
The full tent at the inaugural Blue Ribbon Craft Beer Festival at the 2017 State Fair of Virginia said it all. Craft beer has arrived. 23 brewers were represented at the showcase, some from as far away as Southwest Virginia. Brewers like Burton say Virginia fruit and honey are especially popular ingredients, and that's been a benefit to farmers.
The apiaries there wasn't numerous ones around, and the ones that were there had a very limited amount of production. And we actually, when we let them know the amount of honey we needed, it was a little bit of a shock to them at first. But what happened was we built a demand, we think, and these apiaries are now able to acquire more honey on a regular basis. They've upped their hive numbers.
The popularity of craft beer can be traced to its unique taste compared to mass-produced beers. The industry is growing quickly, in part thanks to a state grant program administered by Governor Terry McAuliffe and the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. 40% of recent agriculture and forest industry development program grants went to craft breweries.
A requirement of that program is actually use 30%, at least 30% of your inputs from local Virginia farms. So far here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, it's been averaging about 80% of the inputs actually coming from Virginia produce, Virginia farms. So a huge impact on agriculture here in the Commonwealth.
The agricultural side is working, and the most notable is we had no farm breweries when we started this enterprise, and now we have, I think, approaching 7. So these are traditional farms that are making agricultural products that said, you know what, we want to start a brewery and be able to capitalize on making that plow to pint.
Craft beer requires a number of quality ingredients like hops, malt, and grain. Virginia farmers have been growing more local hops in recent years, and small grains, especially barley, are readily available. The barley must be malted before using it to make beer. The newest trend in craft brewing is called plow to pint, where brewers raise all the ingredients themselves.
It's easy to purchase the stuff for sure, and because it just shows up on your door. But when you're growing it, you got to tend to it just like any other crop, and but it shows up in the end product. You know, when you have cherries, like we're growing cherries, it doesn't compare to putting something non-fresh in our fruit or our beers. You know, it's something that I would love to see more people do because it preserves open space, preserves farmland. It's either, we're growing houses or we're growing grains or something else. So it's something that I like to see.
While the Agriculture Department has helped link breweries with farmers, Burton says most brewers start their own supply networks. So if you want to start growing ingredients for craft beer, reach out to your local brewery and start a conversation, preferably over a pint of their best brew. In Caroline County, Virginia, I'm Norm Hyde.